Well, motherfucks. You know what I'm saying? It's another day and another video game has come out for your boy to review. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about Cyberpunk 2077. Now, I would now say, for those of you that don't know, but there's no one that doesn't know about this game, right? I mean, this game has been pushed down our throats for the last few years, it feels like, you know? Everywhere I turn, I see this game. Everywhere I turn, I see Keanu Reeves, you know, doing his little role and all that other shit, right? So naturally, I got pretty excited about this game too. I mean, it's not really up my alley. You know, I don't really like sci-fi shit, you know what I'm saying? But I do like a good RPG, and I do like customization, and I thought the idea was clever. That you could add like biotech to your body and shit and become like a cyborg basically, you know? And kind of like dictate the kind of cyborg you're gonna be, you know? So I thought it was pretty cool, you know? I've never seen anything like that before. So I knew I was gonna buy it, you know? I like my games, so I knew I was gonna buy it, you know? Naturally, I bought it, right? I pre-ordered that shit on PSN, you know what I'm saying? Downloaded the motherfucker, you know? It took about 15 years to download, first of all. That's the first criticism I have, you know? 100 gigabytes, you know? So it is what it is. Like, I know that games are big now, but it took forever. You know, I don't know why. Maybe my internet connection was being weird. But it took a long time for me to download the shit, right? And I know that part of that was the day one patch, right? Day one patch, 40 gigs. You know what I'm saying? So I turn the game on, I start playing it, right? I get through the little tutorial section, right? Thus far, I'm not impressed, motherfuckers. I am not impressed at all, right? First of all, there's nothing in this game that screams or justifies all the hype that it got, right? It's just another first-person shooter with RPG mechanics, right? It's like Fallout, and I never really liked Fallout, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm like, oh, whatever, I'll give it a shot, you know what I'm saying? I'll give it a shot, right? I'm like, maybe the story will, like, you know, be really good, or, you know, the gameplay will be, like, fantastic once we get going, you know? And I'm still at that stage, to be honest. I'm still giving it a shot. Because, you know, I haven't played, like, that much, right? But as I start playing the game, the story starts unfolding a little bit, like the very beginning of the story. And all of a sudden, a montage appears, you know? And I'm like, isn't this supposed to be some sort of narrative masterpiece? Why is there a montage smack dab in the middle of this motherfucker? You know what I'm saying? But whatever, fine. That's a stylistic choice. They want to tell the story through a montage. Be my guest, cucks. Be my guest, you know? So I'm playing the game, and all of a sudden, you know, slight spoiler here, the main character that you play as, like you basically, right? You become friends with this guy, like, randomly at the beginning of the game. And all of a sudden, you're best buds. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what the montage was trying to show, is that, like, time went forward a bit, you know? Like, you've been hanging out with this guy for a while, now you're boys, right? Which is cool, but it's like, what the hell is that all about, you know? Just start the game with them being boys if you're going to be like that, you know? But whatever, then, again, that's a stylistic decision, right? So then I'm starting to play the game. Boom, the game crashes, motherfucker. The game crashes. I'm playing on PS4. I'm like, all right. I heard about this, you know what I mean? I heard that the game was crashing. So I boot that motherfucker again. Game crashes at the same exact place. I fucking lose my mind, right? I go on PlayStation support and I want my money back, you know what I mean? I know that if you download a game from PSN, you're not supposed to get your money back, right? Because that's just part of the rules or some shit. But I'd like a game that fucking works, you know? But whatever, I start talking to the nice girl, you know? And then as I'm talking to her on chat, right? I'm trying to play the game again, and then I boot it again, and it starts working, so I kind of give up on the chat. I'm like, I'll give this motherfucker a shot. Then the game gets all right, you know, it becomes decent, like, as I play it, you know? But the more people I see on the screen, the shittier the game gets, you know? The frame rate drops are nothing to be fucked with in this game, let me tell you that, motherfucks. You know, I'm not, like, a technical wizard, right? I don't really mind if the technical aspects of a game are not perfect, you know? Like, I don't really give a shit about graphics so much, you know, as long as the presentation is there, you know? But I do care about playability, right? Like, I'm not going to be the asshole that's like, oh, the picture of the, you know, the picture of the beaver, like, by the creek, the image of the beaver by the creek didn't have enough pixels on his ass, right? I'm not going to be that guy, you know? But I am going to be the guy that says, yo, if the frame rate drops and fucks up my aiming or fucks up the driving of the car in the game, then that's shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, the controller is not responding correctly to what the fuck is going on in my screen, motherfucks. You know? And that's kind of the problem that I have with a lot of these big games, right? Like, I think things like Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto are super overrated because I think the controls are shit. You know? Like, I've been playing Red Dead Redemption, like, again, recently, you know? And it's a pain in the ass. You know, like going inside of a store, if you're like on a horse, you gotta get out of the horse, you gotta walk around the horse, you know. And I understand they're going for that realistic feel where it's like, your shit's gonna be like a bit real for you right now, motherfucker. and that's cool. There's a market for that, obviously, right? Red Dead, Grand Theft Auto do really well, but I can't get past the fact in Grand Theft Auto when you like sprint and you stop, the guy has to take like 15 more steps. Turning around feels like you're turning around on a PS1 game. All this other shit that plagues, in my opinion, Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption. But I will say this, motherfucks, Cyberpunk 2077 gave me a newfound appreciation for those motherfucks at Rockstar, right? I gotta say it like it is, right? Since I was playing Red Dead Redemption like 2 weeks ago or last week even, right? I also saw some things that I hadn't seen in a long time in the game that made me appreciate it, Like how everyone reacts to shit. Like if you walk around with your gun unsheathed, people are like, yo, what the fuck? Why is your gun unsheathed, motherfucker? Whereas in fucking Cyberpunk, I can go next to a group of like people that I'm trying to capture, right? Point a gun at their dome piece, and then like they start becoming alert. They're like, what are you doing here? I'm like, yo, I'm fucking pointing a piece at your face, motherfucker. But again, that is what it is. Like, I understand this is a video game. A lot of people think that the video game should be like super realistic. Like a lot of people seem to be upset at the car mechanics, right? Or like if you park your car in the middle of the road, other cars don't go around you. Like I don't give a shit about that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just the aesthetics of the game. I don't really give a fuck like what the game looks like when I'm not playing it. You know what I mean? I don't care what NPCs do. Obviously I don't want them to look like shit, but I don't really care about that. So my concern isn't even that. My concern, motherfucks, comes from the other side of the aisle, the other side of the spectrum, if you will, right? My concern and my issue with this piece of shit game, that's right, motherfuckers, I said it, piece of shit game. My concern with this is that this game has been allowed, I should say, to get the amount of attention that it has. This game should be studied in marketing classes as the primary example of when you can take a piece of shit product and just inject millions of dollars, millions of marketing dollars to it, you can get anything done. Anything can sell. I went on Twitter, right? And I saw the official Twitter of the game or whatever, some other bullshit that was associated with the game, right? And they're like, thank you guys, 1 million pre-orders. Do you know what 1 million pre-orders is, motherfucks? That's like $60 million. Let's just say, and it's probably a little bit less, but let's just say it's $60 a game, right? $60 million. $60 million people paid these motherfucks before the game even came out. Now think about that for a second, right? Why would we do that, right? Why would people like me, and some of you I'm sure, pay money to this company before getting the game, right? Presumably because we expect a good game. Not only that, it's not even we expect a good game. We know that it's going to be a good game, right? Because there's no way a game can be this shitty after all this hype it's gotten, right? Well, I'll tell you this, motherfucks. I'm not doing this shit again. I'm not buying a game from these fucking thieves ever again, let me tell you. You know what I'm saying? This game doesn't work. Let's call it like it is. It doesn't work. You cannot defend this shit, I look forward to playing it when the patch appears that fixes like 90% of these problems that the day one patch couldn't fix. Like it's crashed a few times for your boy, right? Any kind of gun battle is almost unwinnable because I try to aim and shoot and the game just lags itself. The frame rate drops like a bitch. You know what I'm saying? And I can't even aim the gun, right? So I'm forced to hide behind cover, use the little health packs, and and I'm pretty good at video games. I'm not like some noob. I'm not some novice up in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? So like I shouldn't have a problem with this only on hard difficulties. Like I ain't even playing on like the hardest difficulty. I'm playing on like the second hardest. So I don't understand what the hell's going on here. They gotta fix this shit. Furthermore, right? As I said earlier, technical problems don't really bother me, but when they get to a point, they start to piss me off a little bit, right? So I'm trying to go open a door in this game, right? And there's no prompt to open the door. So I'm like, what the hell? All right, maybe it's like a loading issue. So I like back up and go forward again. No prompt. I'm like, all right, fine. So my ally, whatever the fuck his name is, comes out of the door, like doesn't open it, but comes out of the door and he's like, come on, we're waiting in here. So I'm like, what the fuck? How did you just teleport phase through a door, right? So I go to the door, trying to see if a prompt comes up. No, the door just isn't there, basically. I just walk through it, right? It was a door that had spawned where a door should be, that could not be interacted with, but that you were meant to go through anyways, right? And also, the fact that the setting of this game is what it is problematic in a way, because I see a glitch and I'm like, oh, is this an actual glitch because the game is shit? Or is this part of the presentation style of this shit game, which is too busy, by the way? That's another issue that I have with the game. It's too busy. You boot the game up, like 15,000 things appear on the screen. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I mean, I started skipping the storyline, right? I started pressing circle to skip the dialogue because it's a bunch of horseshit. You know, it's like, oh, you gotta get the hatcher for the Gorgomons, right? It's all these like words, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this is, and honestly, it's not interesting enough for me to find out. But that's another problem. My main issue here is definitely the fact that millions of marketing dollars have been used to sell a piece of shit. Any game in the world can become the best game ever if you spend enough marketing dollars on it. I suspect that once Metacritic allows people to upload their reviews to their user scores or whatever the fuck they call it there, right? I suspect that it's gonna be review bombed, right? And once again, when a game gets review bombed, some SJW journalist, you know, some game nerd is gonna be like, once again, the hateful people of Metacritic review bombed this game, completely dismissing any actual claims that those people may have. You know, same shit happened with The Last of Us. Remember that, motherfucks? You know, and I did a review on that, and I didn't even think it was that bad. I thought Last of Us was like a nice 7.5, 8 out of 10. You know, it wasn't like it was what I expected, to be honest, you know? But this piece of shit is not what I expected, you know? And then, like, I realized, I mean, I knew it before, but I realized that this is made by the same people that made The Witcher. And that's all I needed to know. You know, I gave The Witcher a chance. I didn't like it. It was too clunky for me. Same problem with, like, Grand Theft Auto. It's just too clunky. Too much going on, you know? It's like you walk 10 feet and it's like, oh, you discovered the crossbow. And I'm like, yo, I just discovered the sword like a minute ago. Whatever, fine. Take the crossbow. You run around, it's like, oh, you discovered the long crossbow. Like, shut the fuck up, let me play the game, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the problem that I have with these games. But that's neither here nor there. The focus, the thing that I want people to get from this is that a company can do incredible things with money, even if the product is shit. I do not understand how the amount of money that went behind this game, right? Which obviously like 95% of the money that went behind it was marketing, right? I don't know how people in 3-4 years cannot do it right. I just don't get it. It's who knows how long it's been in development, you know what I mean? How fucking hard can it be? You know what I mean? I feel like I could go learn this shit and figure it out, start a company and do it if I had $50 million, no problem. You know what I mean? I don't get how these people can just get away with this shit, you know? And the worst part is that a lot of these marketing dollars were obviously spent to build a fan base, right? To build an existing fan base that was going to support the game no matter what. I don't want to call it brainwashing, but it's a form of that, right? It's a form of like, this is cool, look forward to this, coming soon, next year, oh, it's been delayed, but we're going to get it to you. Oh, it's been delayed again, but we're going to get it to you, right? It's that kind of shit that creates this fan culture, right? Where every fan, like, you know, at least the top tier of fans, like the top, let's say 20 or 10% of fans are like diehard fans without even playing the game. And they'll defend anything. You know what I'm saying? They'll defend anything. I'm out there creating my character, and it's like, what kind of dick do you want? I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? Why is that even an option here? Oh, you can have a dick or a vagina. You want it circumcised or uncircumcised, bruh? You know, I don't give a shit, dude. Like, unless the dick is like integral to the gameplay, you know, unless my uncircumcised dick gets me extra protection, you know what I'm saying, extra armor up in this motherfucker, you know what I'm saying, that would be fine, you know, call me Aardvark boy, you know, that would be fine. But if that's not what's happening, you know, then I don't need this unnecessary, like, you know, fucking, what's it called, customization, you know. And again, if the game is perfect, I don't care if you add it or you don't, but someone wasted time animating these penises, right? And then someone forgot to animate the door that I have to open. The thing that I actually have to do is shit because someone decided to animate a penis in the game. You understand what I'm saying, motherfucks? But once again, I will say this. You know, the uncircumcised males have had no representation in the history of video games and media. You know what I'm saying? And since all the talk is about representation, I will say this. As an uncircumcised male, it's good to see someone that I can relate to, motherfuckers. It's good to see someone that I can relate to. Because I've always wanted to be a video game character. Because that's how I identify myself, motherfuckers. I identify myself through media, through popular shit. If I don't see myself represented, I lose my mind, motherfuckers. You know? How stupid is that, by the way, you know? Anyways, point is, whatever CD Projekt, whatever the fuck their name is, really dropped the ball on this one, right? They made a game that was supposed to be this like universally acclaimed game, and I'm sure it will be, because the marketing dollars are also hard at work. Video game reviewers are not immune to this. You know what I'm saying? They're not immune to this phenomenon that happens to everyone else, right? There's gonna be a few honest ones out there who are like, yo, this game's overrated shit, you know? But the majority of people are going to be heard as in H-E-R-D, motherfucks, like a herd of sheep. They're gonna be herding all the way to the fucking like GameStop or wherever the fuck you buy games now, you know? They're gonna do it. They're gonna make this game a success. And this will allow this company to set up their next game. Now, I personally, on principle alone, cannot buy their next game. You know what I'm saying? It's not even like, yo, you tried your best, the game was shit, it's understandable. You know, it's not that. It's the fact, it's how they did it, right? It's how they did it. They made a shit game, presented it as being groundbreaking, right? And didn't even have the audacity to go and fix that shit up. You know, I'm sure they will eventually. But no, motherfuckers, you cannot release this on day one. You cannot release this as the finished product. You know, I haven't seen anything this disastrous since Final Fantasy 15. You know, and even that, at least technically speaking, Final Fantasy 15 worked perfectly. You know what I'm saying? There's no technical issues. You know, it was programmed correctly. It was fucking awesome, right? Now, the storyline was shit and had a lot of content that like didn't make any sense because the game was obviously unfinished. But at least the game played itself well. You know, you're like the game had a combat system. It had an outlined like quest system. It had everything you needed, right? But this game, I'm gonna play it some more today probably. But Cyberpunk is a huge disappointment, and in my opinion, the hater gives it a nice 3 out of 10, motherfuckers. The lowest score of all the games that the hater has ever rated. Fuck it, 4 out of 10. We're giving this one a 4 out of 10. You know, this game should have been a classic 10 out of 10, but it is a 4 out of 10. 4, motherfuckers, 4. It might be pushed up to 5 or 6 if they fix all this, but it'll never go beyond 5 or 6. Because how can it, right? You can't start off something this poorly and then expect people to just like wait, like continue waiting after they pay the money, right, for you to fix it. No, that's not how it works. That's not how commerce works, cucks. Commerce works like this. I look at what you're gonna sell me and I say, hey, I'd like to buy that. How much is it? And you say, $60. And I say, thanks, here it is, right? Not I buy it, and then if I don't like it, at least in the United States and other Western countries, if I don't like it, I can come back to you and say, hey, I'm sorry, the thing you sold me was complete shit. I'd like my money back, right? Nowadays, you can't really do that, right? You can't really return games to GameStop. You can't return games to PSN. And I understand that because there would be a lot of people exploiting that. But the facts are what the facts are. You cannot put out this drivel and then expect me to be happy about it, right? I know a lot of people are going to pretend it's a great game, but this game is absolute garbage. It's shit, and I don't think anyone who is rational or anyone who is reasonable is going to say good things about it. Now, I hear the PC version is fantastic, you know? I hear the PC version works. And if this game works like people say it's working on PC, had I known, I would have bought it for PC, you know, because I have a very powerful PC. But I don't understand. Like, you know, I thought it would be good. You know, I eventually plan on getting a PS5 when I can get my hands on one, but that's not here nor there, right? Even if this game, like, it's like those games that come out for the Switch, you know, and people are like, oh, the performance is shit on the Switch. The people that make that game or those games should not release it for the Switch unless it can match the performance of other consoles. If they cannot do that, right? If they're not good enough at doing that, or if it's impossible to do that, don't release it. Don't be a little shit. Don't release it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why you see on the Switch, like they had WWE 2K18, I think, and then they didn't have 2K like 19 or 2K20, whatever the fuck it was, right? They had one of them, but they didn't have the next like 2 or 3 because they realized after the first one that it's like, oh, this didn't work out. You know, nobody liked it. It was unplayable, etc., etc. So that's what I gotta say about that. 4 out of 10 we're giving it, and we'll see. I'm gonna play it. I haven't given up yet. You know, I want to play it and see if maybe they've done some major fixings, you know, some major overhauls, or maybe the game just gets really good. But to be fair, it's not playable at this point. If I can't aim my gun and turn around quickly to shoot someone because the frame rate drops to like, you know, 10 frames per second, or it feels like 2 frames per second, then I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying? That's what I got to say about that. Peace out.